Imagine living in a time where simply expressing your faith could cost you your life. This was the reality for early Christians under Nero's reign, the infamous Roman emperor. His rule was an era characterized by brutal persecution of Christians. His insatiable thirst for amusement led him to use Christians as living torches for his extravagant parties. Each gathering, every whispered prayer was laden with the risk of discovery and the threat of death. Yet they continued to believe, to hope, to pray. Their courage, their strength is hard to grasp. They clung to the words of the scriptures, their faith giving them the fortitude to endure. Despite the unimaginable terror, they remained steadfast, choosing faith over fear, God over Nero. They were not mere victims, they were warriors of faith, bearing Nero's brutality with hope for a better tomorrow, where they could live and pray freely. Yet, in the face of such unimaginable terror, the early Christians stood firm, their faith unshaken. Their story serves as a beacon of resilience and courage, a source of inspiration for all of us, irrespective of the trials we face in our own journeys of faith. In the face of adversity, the early Christians demonstrated unwavering faith and bravery that continues to inspire believers today. They stood firm, their conviction unshaken, despite severe persecution. Stories passed down generations serve as a testament to their extraordinary resilience. One tale is of St. Peter, one of Jesus' closest disciples. He requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die like Christ. His profound humility and reverence reflect the depth of his faith. Amid such trials, early Christians sought strength from their spiritual convictions. The verse 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." This verse encapsulates their spiritual strength, not physical might, but abiding faith in God. It was their fortress amid adversity. These stories of faith and bravery are timeless, reminding us of faith's power, the strength drawn from an unshakable belief in God. They urge us to believe, not only when convenient, but also when the world opposes us. The courage and resilience of the early Christians, their capacity to remain faithful despite persecution, are inspiring. They were more than believers, they were faith's warriors, unbowed spirits amid adversity. Their stories reveal that faith is not passive, but active, brave, and unwavering. Their courage and resilience in the face of persecution is a testament to their unyielding faith in Jesus Christ. As modern Christians, we may face different challenges, but the example of early Christians can provide valuable lessons for us today. Let's ponder on this. Early Christians, despite the threat of death, remained resolute in their faith and beliefs, demonstrating immense bravery and resilience. They faced extreme oppression from rulers like Nero, who exploited them to cover his own shortcomings. Yet, they held on, their faith unshaken and courage steadfast. In the face of such harsh trials, they stood firm, their spiritual armor, as outlined in 2 Corinthians 10:4, serving as a shield against the world's assault. Now, the trials we encounter as today's Christians may appear to be largely different. We may not face the gruesome fate of being thrown to lions or burned at stakes, but we do grapple with our own unique struggles. We wrestle with societal pressures, personal uncertainties, and at times even discrimination for our beliefs. Just like the early Christians, we are also summoned to be unwavering in our faith, to cling to our spiritual armor amidst adversity. In their journey of faith, the early Christians were trailblazers. Their bravery and determination set a course for future generations of believers. They established a legacy of resilience and unfaltering faith that continues to inspire modern-day Christians. When our faith seems to falter, we can find solace and strength in their example. They too encountered trials and tribulations, yet they remain steadfast. When confronted with a challenging situation, do you find your faith wavering, or do you cling to it even more fiercely? The early Christians chose the latter despite the harshest of persecutions. They leaned into their faith, drawing strength from their unwavering belief in God. Does their example motivate you to do likewise? The experiences of the early Christians as a reflective surface, mirroring our own journey of faith. They remind us that faith is not only for the good times, but also for the challenging times. They emphasize that it is not about convenience, but conviction. Their unwavering faith and courage inspire us to remain resilient on our faith journey. Their example underlines that faith is not a fair-weather friend, but a loyal companion in times of turbulence. They illustrate that faith is not a passive belief, but an active commitment to God, a pledge that demands bravery, resilience, and perseverance. So, as we traverse the challenges of our faith journey, let's recall their bravery, their resilience, their unfaltering faith. Let's remember that, like them, we too are called to be steadfast in our faith, to stand firm in our beliefs, to cling to our spiritual armor in times of adversity. Their stories serve as a reminder that, no matter the challenge, faith can provide the strength and resilience needed to overcome. As we reflect on the courage and resilience of the early Christians, we are called to consider how their example can invigorate and fortify our faith. Reflection is a potent tool. It enables us to revisit the past, to glean wisdom from those who tread before us, and utilize these teachings in our spiritual journey. The early Christians endured harsh trials. They faced severe persecution, were shunned by society, and lived in persistent fear. Yet they remained unbowed in their faith. They clung to their beliefs with an inspiring tenacity. But what fueled such fortitude? What was the wellspring of their undying resilience? Amidst daunting adversity, their strength was anchored in their faith in God. As stated in 2 Corinthians 10:4, the weapons we fight with are not worldly. Instead, they possess divine potency to break down fortresses. They grasped that their strength was not self-sourced, but derived from a higher power. So how can we mirror their resilience and courage in our faith journey? First, acknowledging that we also harbor this divine strength. This power doesn't come from physical might or worldly prestige. It originates from faith, from a deep-seated trust in God and His promises. Next, we comprehend that upholding our faith is not about a challenge-free, quite the opposite. It's about tackling these trials directly, armed with the knowledge that we are not solitary in our struggles. God accompanies us every inch of the way. Furthermore, we must bear in mind that our faith journey isn't a sprint, but a marathon. It's not about swift victories. It's about enduring perseverance. It's about persisting even when the path becomes arduous. Lastly, we can take solace in our spiritual lineage, knowing we belong to a continuum of believers who have weathered hardships and remained resolute. We're part of a faith heritage dating back to the early Christians, a legacy that continues to galvanize and navigate us today. So as we contemplate the courage and resilience of the early Christians, let's deliberate on how their example can inflame and bolster our faith. Let's bear in mind the divine power within us, the power to confront hurdles and maintain our beliefs. May the example of the early Christians inspire us to stand firm in our faith, no matter the challenges we face.